There's some neighborhoods that if they're not the author of peace, then they'll be the author of confusion and distrust and that's the thing. We got to get it. Some older dudes got to get it. Other older dudes and say, "Hey, look, man, let this happen. Let it happen for our children, our grandchildren, our great grandchildren, to be able to walk these streets."
Well, let me ask you: if it happens organically, do you believe that it will eventually catch on and spread to those that's not with it? Like you said, how Munchie was.
Yeah, I think what'll happen is if it starts spreading, the people who aren't with it are gonna stand out like they're gonna stick out like sore thumbs. We're gonna be able to identify who's the ones causing the chaos and confusion if everybody's with it. So I think that's gonna happen.
But nevertheless, I guess the words that you was trying to say was it was a beautiful funeral for Fat Dog.
I want to say it was a beautiful funeral. If we could use that term, beautiful, in a funeral, because we still there for a sad occasion. I'm just glad that it wasn't a homicide. He had surgery and he didn't make it through the surgery. So that's a lesson for all of us. Let's take care of our bodies, man. Let's take care of ourselves. But yeah, it was a beautiful service.
Since you out meeting with all the different gangs and stuff and having good conversations with different people, where do you see the gangs of LA in 10 years?
Man, I see in 10 years, I see the gangs of LA changing their names and clicking off because there's going to be so much peace. The dudes who want to continue the foolishness and the ignorance, they're not going to be able to claim the same hoods that are creating peace. They're going to have to create their own. They're going to have to be Apaches, Comanches, or something. They're going to have to come up with another name. Terrorists. They're not going to be able to be Bloods and Crips if the Bloods and Crips are sitting down with each other. So they're going to have to, just like before it was Bloods and Crips, there was Slaussons, gladiators, businessmen. There's going to be something like that. I think that's the next movement is reckless, abandoned, juvenile delinquents. We can give them their name now. Juvenile delinquents, the motherfuckers that don't listen, but it ain't gonna be the same as the Bloods and Crips.
How widespread is gentrification in County of Los Angeles?
Man, gentrification is so bad in LA that damn near every neighborhood got the Ring doorbell and Caucasian people walking their dogs. I mean, I know there's some blocks that still. I get nervous walking down, but there are some people with they tight shorts on, they little fluffy dogs, and they sandals, and they walk up and down those streets, man, because they know that, like Sam Cooke said, the change gonna come, and they part of that change. And that's almost every neighborhood in LA. Can't move back. You tell me a neighborhood from the 20s to the 100s, even Gardena, Compton, those houses are at $1 million. Rolling 60s got $1 million. The 20s got $2 million, $3 million homes. The same with Inglewood. So it's like, man, I can't move back. I can't speak for other people, but I can't move back. So,
do you think it'll come to a point where some of these white kids are joining black gangs, or are black gangs gonna phase out on their own?
I believe that the black gangs are gonna phase out. Like I say, the youngsters are going to create something else. And if they're still here with the white kids, I believe the white kids is going to be a part of whatever that new generation is. Ignorance is ignorance. Foolishness is foolishness. And violence is violence. I don't want to address the gang issue. I want to address the violence. Can we coexist with each other without being violent? Can we have arguments, disagreements? Can we not like each other? But I don't want to kill you, and I don't want you to kill me. So I think that's where this is going to move to, is how do we address the violence. And the gentrification, the colonizers, their children are mass shooters. They shoot up the whole school. You know what I mean? They don't shoot at a bus stop. They don't shoot at a car. They shoot the whole school. So we gotta be careful that our children don't become senseless murderers in that aspect. Not saying that taking another child's life isn't senseless, but not to the point where it's mass shootings.
So what's going on with black and brown relations nowadays?
As far as I know, black and brown relationships are going good in certain parts of the city. Um, I think that there's certain areas where it's gotten out of hand. There were times of peace in the city of Inglewood, and now that's exploding again. But I have hidden people who can make things happen, man. I got one in a halfway house right now. And as soon as he gets out, man, there's going to be a lot of peace. He's on one of them 60-day type things. So I got about maybe 35, 45 more days. But he brings peace wherever he goes, and he don't ask for it. He demands it. So as soon as I get him out, there's going to be some talks of peace in certain areas. So looking forward to that.
I don't know if you could speak on any specific gangs, but maybe you could speak on the grid zone. What areas, if there are any cold wars where used to be hot, used to be places you didn't want to walk, but now that the gangs are getting along, it's not much of a problem?
Shit, I could talk about on Central Avenue. Central used to be where the F-13 and the East Coast would, go back and forth. The 76 East Coast on Compton and 76. So is the Florencias right there. They have not an issue. You see them going to the store together, coming out. That it's just. I don't want to say it's cold because there's still issues with other groups. Other people come by and shoot, and the other wars are still going on. But that war with the black and brown isn't going on. So it's not as if you can just let your guards down because other people cross Slauson, other guys come across Main Street, and and we all look alike. Brown and black. Sometimes it'd be Hispanic guys from a black gang or black guys from a Hispanic gang. So it's kind of hard to tell unless we keep the communication going. But that's definitely the Cold War right there.
When these wars die down, is there less aggression from local law enforcement?
Nah. So when the wars die down, law enforcement continues to do the same. What they do is they benefit from the numbers. The one thing that I haven't found black and brown people doing is keeping score, keeping track. But law enforcement does. So when there's the war between the Florencia and East Coast stopped in 2019, November 1st, I think was the one day like, okay, that's it, it's Stuvo. Well, law enforcement can document from 2019 till now based on their deployment schedule, based on the overtime, based on the new helicopter they got and the hard work the detectives done, that there's a reduction of homicides. But, you ask me, you ask Doc Throne, you ask the Florencias, you ask the other individuals, J.P. Stone and others who was on the phone, doing the stuff we was doing and working. It had nothing to do with overtime. It had nothing to do with the deployment of sheriff, deputies, or officers. It had to do with the relationships that were built that still go on to this day. And that's why the reduction of violence, but we don't keep score. And most people don't even want to talk about it. Most people say, oh man, don't mention that, don't bring it up. And then look, when some people bring it up, man, the haters even might say, okay, 360 months for you being a part of something like that. So we don't know where it's gonna go, but they always take credit for it, and they keep their foot on the neck of the community regardless.
Skipp, when you out creating or assisting in peace, I know you get a lot of backlash, but I'm gonna tell you, keep doing what you're doing, man. I hear a lot of good things about you, and if there's anything you want to leave us with, let me have it.
Peace isn't free. If I could leave y'all with that, peace isn't free. It costs individuals their time, their money, their effort. It costs individuals sometimes going to jail or being dead. One of the things that I did in February 2022 cost me $286. And that was getting Ron and Munchie B and Kijana Bandit, and Pretty Boy came, and Shit, maybe it was Baby Old Dog. I forgot who else from Inglewood, but we sat down and ate and just had a meal. So don't nobody like nobody really. I mean, you know, some of them do, but at least they ain't crossing the street killing each other no more. That costs $286. So when you ask about the grid and you ask about, I'm telling you about law enforcement, law enforcement get $42 million. No, that's not a year. That was from January to March for overtime.
Man.
42 million. LAPD got $42 million. Man, ain't nobody gave me my $286 back. But I guarantee you, yeah, they still fight and shoot and kill, but not each other right now. They're not fighting, shooting, killing each other. They got other fights. And I'm going to try to break one of them up. That's all over the internet. I'm about to get at my boy on Vernon Avenue and say, man, leave the little dude alone, man. You know, what can I do? Put it on me, man. But, you know, I don't want that to go back and forth. I don't want Crenshaw to be on fire no more. So, you know, I don't know what it's going to cost. $100, $200. We got to eat. I got to take them to Big Bear or something. Let's go to the snow, homie. But, yeah, man, it's not free. But the people who get paid are law enforcement.